So it's still on the topic of differentiation. Let's quickly recap what we've done so far. So we had already discussed that in AS levels, we did the differentiation of a function in the form of x power n, and the derivative of that was nx n minus 1. And sometimes instead of n, there was fx power n. In that case, the derivative used to be n, fx stays the same, power gets reduced by 1, times the derivative of x. This was from AS. This year, we will be needing this plus many more cases of differentiation. Another one we did was, which we called case 1, was y is equals to ex, and derivative of this was still ex. However, if instead of just x, the power was a function of x, then the derivative would be e power fx stays the same, but times derivative of x. Then we did case 3 in the last lesson, case 2, sorry, which was y equals natural log of x. The dy over dx for this was 1 upon x. However, if instead of x, we're given a function in terms of x, y equals ln fx, then the derivative is 1 upon fx times f prime x, the derivative. That was the second case. Okay. Today we're going to discuss the third case, which is differentiation of trigonometric functions. So if y equals sine x, then the derivative of this is cos x. When y equals cos x, then the derivative of this is minus sine x. And when y equals tan x, then the derivative of this is secant square x. All these basic formulas are given in the formula sheet. Now let's change x into a function of x. So if y equals sine of fx, then its derivative is going to be cos of fx times f prime x, the derivative of fx. Similarly, if you have cos fx, then the derivative of this is minus sine fx times f prime x. And if you have y is equals to tan fx, then the derivative is secant square fx times f prime x. All right, now let's take a look at some example questions. So we have y equals sine 2x that we need to derive. So the derivative of this is going to be derivative of sine fx is cos fx times f prime x. So it's going to be cos 2x times the derivative of 2x. And what's the derivative of 2x? It's just 2. So it's going to be 2 cos 2x. Y equals cos 1 minus 6x. So the derivative of cos fx is minus sine fx. It's going to be minus sine 1 minus 6x times the derivative of this. So the derivative of this would be 0 minus 6, which is just minus 6. So that's going to be 6 sine 1 minus 6x. If you have any questions, you're allowed to ask questions in between. Please do. Next would be tan y equals tan pi minus 5x. So the derivative of tan fx is secant square fx, so secant square pi minus 5x times the derivative of fx. So the fx is pi minus 5x, pi is a constant, so the derivative of pi is 0, and the derivative of minus 5x is minus 5, so times minus 5. So we have minus 5 secant square pi minus 5x. Now, this would be a function inside a function. It's sine power 5x. Okay. So sine power 5x means, let's rewrite this as y equals sine x power 5. So the first rule that we're going to apply is going to be y equals fx power n, the derivative of which is n fx power n minus 1 times f prime x, the derivative of x. So then what should be the answer in this case? Can anybody apply this rule here? It's function power n. So we have to derivate that. Five comes down. The function is still fx, doesn't change. Its power gets reduced by 1, so 4 times the derivative of the function. The derivative of sine x is cos x. So the answer is going to be 5 cos x times sine 4x. Sin x
मैम
will
इसे पावर के साथ लग रहा है इसके
हाँ
मैम इस केस में पावर रूल भी साथ लग रहा है ये ट्रिग्नोमेट्री के
बिल्कुल 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 पावर रूल साथ लगा
ठीक है मैम
ठीक है अभी हम ऐसी काफी एग्जांपल्स देखें नेक्स्ट वुड बी y equals cos cube x. So again, that's y equals cos x whole cube. So it's fx power 3. So we derivated dy over dx. Would anybody like to attempt this? Three comes down, bracket cosx, power gets reduced by 1, 2 times the derivative of cosx, which is minus sin x. So this is going to be minus 3 sin x, and instead of cos x whole square, I'm writing cos square x. Yes, that's good. Okay. Another one, y equals tan power 7x, which I'm going to first rewrite as y equals bracket tan x whole power 7. Okay, again we have to apply the power rule first. So it's going to be 7 bracket tan x power 6 times the derivative of this, and the derivative of tan x is secant square x. So it's going to be 7 secant square x bracket tan x power 6. Yeah, it's better to write tan power 6x.
मैम इस कॉस सिंप्लीफाई किया जा सकता है वैसे?
हाँ,
मैम इस फाइनल आंसर को और सिंप्लीफाई करने की जरूरत होती है नहीं?
नहीं, it's good enough. Unless question कहे कि show your answer in this form, तो फिर कोई identity में भी apply हो रही हो जिससे हम simplify करके उस form में answer दिखाएं. Otherwise, this is a good enough answer.
ठीक है मैम.
Another one. Cos cube x. We're done with that. So now we're going to derivate y equals sine to the power 5 times 2x. Sine power 5 2x. Okay. Let's approach this question. So let's write it as whole power 5. This is an optional step, by the way, but it just gives me more clarity. So I like to write it like that. I'm going to first apply the power rule. The power rule is 5 comes down, power becomes 4, and the function inside stays untouched, it's still the same. But outside, we have to multiply the derivative of sine 2x. Remember what's the derivative of sine 2x? It's for sine 2x, if we're derivating it, the derivative of sine x is just cos x, but this is cos 2x. And then you have to multiply the derivative of 2x again, which is times 2. So the derivative is 2 cos 2x. So we must multiply with 2 cos 2x, giving us 10 sine. Okay, let me write cos 2x first. And then sine 2x power 4. Get the answer. 10 cos 2x plus sine 2x power 4. In fact, they've written the answer like this. I should have written it like this, 4 here, after, right after sine. It's going to be 10 cos 2x times sine power 4 2x. There shouldn't be a gap here. Okay, any questions here? So first we use power rule, And then we had to derivate the fx. So the derivative of sine 2x is 2 cos 2x. So we have multiplied 2 cos 2x. Okay. Another one. Y equals cos power 5 and then 1 minus 6x. So whole power 5 cos 1 minus 6x 5 bracket cos 1 minus 6x power 4 times the derivative of this. So the derivative of cos 1 minus 6x would be what? Although we've already found it out, but let's do it again. The derivative of this is going to be the derivative of just cos is minus sine. So we're going to write minus sine and then 1 minus 6x, but multiply the derivative of this again. The derivative of 1 minus 6x is minus 6. So times minus 6, which gives us 6 sine 1 minus 6x. So we're going to multiply this times 6 sine 1 minus 6x. So we get 30 times sine 1 minus 6x and then cos power 4 1 minus 6x. Okay, that's correct. Another one. Y equals tan power 7 pi minus 5x. Okay. dy over dx would be 7 comes down, then tan power 6 pi minus 5x. All right. Then we derivate tan pi minus 5x again. Let me just rewrite it like this first. Tan pi minus 5x power 7. So I've applied the power rule, but now I have to derivate this. So I'm going to do that on the side. So it's going to be tan pi minus 5x. Derivative of this is secant square pi minus 5x times the derivative of pi minus 5x, which is 0 minus 5, so that's just minus 5. So it's going to be times minus 5 secant square pi minus 5x. So it's going to be minus 35 secant square pi minus 5x and tan power 6 pi minus 5x. Let me take the answer. Minus 35 secant square pi minus 5x tan power 6 pi minus 5x. That's it. All right. So now I'm going to write a couple of questions and their answers, and I want all of you to try that on your own. That's going to be your classwork / homework for today. We're not going to go any beyond this particular concept because I think it's a lot of information to absorb in one day. So you're going to practice more of this and start doing these questions. Okay, so part A is this is your classwork / homework for today. Part A is y equal cos q 2 pi x. Part B is seven cos 2x cubed. Part C is y equals sine square x square plus cos square x square. T is ln sine 2x. That's cos q 2x. F is y equals e sine 3x and G is y equals 5e sine square x. I'm going to write their answers next to them as well so that you can match. And the ones you don't get right, we will discuss it tomorrow. Or maybe today. अगर हो जाता है तो. This is a weird answer. Okay, these are all the parts. I'm going to send you guys a screenshot as well. Discuss part B. Let me copy the question again. It's y equals 7 cos 2x cube. Now notice that the cube is not on all of cos 2x. It's just on x. So this is not going to be power rule. The 3 is not coming down because it's not on all of fx. It's just on x cube. Okay, so when we derivate this, 7 is still 7. And now we have to derivate cos 2x cube. So what's the derivative of cos fx? The derivative of cos fx is minus sine fx times f prime x. So the derivative of this is going to be minus sine, the fx stays the same, 2x cube. And now we have to multiply the derivate the fx, which is 2x cube. So we have to derivate 2x cube. What's the derivative of 2x cube? It's going to be 6x squared. We multiply that with 6x squared. So we get minus 42 sine 2x cube. I hope you've understood, Mary. Where did the x squared go? Yeah, there's an x squared with it as well. That I did not copy. There's an x squared here as well. So x squared. Okay. Part D, which is y equals ln sine 2x. So we know that the derivative of ln fx is 1 over fx times f prime x, the derivative of fx. So keeping that in mind, let's bring sine 2x in the denominator, which is fx in this case, and then multiply the derivative of sine 2x. The derivative of sine 2x is going to be cos 2x, and then derivative of cos 2x, which is 2. So the answer should be 2 cos 2x in the numerator upon sine 2x. And this can further be simplified. Cos over sine is actually cot, the reciprocal of tan. So this is going to be 2 cot 2x.